house. So welcome back to Favorite Friday. For this case, we are going to West Virginia. Specifically, we are going to the small town city of Williamsburg. Williamsburg, the last population check that I saw was about 440 people. So you were with a population that small. Everybody was saying no everybody. There are major news outlets that have covered this case before, considering how many victims have died. And spoiler alert, if you see the thumbnail, you've already pretty know how bad it's going to get, considering how many people are in the thumbnail. And so that being said, I'm going to give us publicly know down below if you knew anybody involved would be the victims, the killer herself, and how the father of these children are doing. Definitely let me know down below. So that being said, I'm coming rambling. Let's get started. So Oreanna Antoinette Myers, it said that she was born May 20th, 1995. In 2016, she gets married to a man by the name of Brian Baumgartner, who apparently already had 2 kids with his ex-wife, Raven. And so his 2 kids are Sean Dawson Baumgartner, who apparently was born March 13th, 2014. March 13th, 2013. And then you got Riley Baumgartner, who apparently was born October 23rd, 2014. So in 2016, apparently at some point, Sean and Riley, which is Brian and Raven's biological kids, they get taken away. Brian and Raven apparently split, and then he gets with Oreanna while he's trying to get custody of the kids back. And then apparently the state gives custody of the kids back to Oreanna and Brian, while Raven is allowed to visit since she's the biological mother. And so like I said, they married in 2016, so this man pretty much got married pretty fast after I would like to assume he got married after they had split. And so together they wound up having 3 kids. You got Ken, we got a Kyle, and then Haken. So Ken was 4, Haken was 3, and the youngest was 1. So in March of 2018, apparently Oreanna would actually beat Raven in front of the kids, but nothing was said actually been done after that. In August of 2020, one of the kids was apparently at a dentist's office and noted bruises, and that same child being verbally abused by an adult male, which we assume was Brian, but it's not publicly named who the adult male is. And so apparently that dentist worker apparently called a child abuse hotline, but no further action was done. And apparently Raven and her brother apparently also tried to call in reports of possible abuse, but apparently nothing was said and been done after that. And so a turning point in the story is believed to be when Brian gets in a car accident, because the family was closer to where he worked and it was cheaper, that way, he decides to stay with them so he can get around on the weekdays, because now you got 5 kids you got to take care of, so 5 kids are expensive. So the believed timeline of events is December 4th, Brian comes home for the weekend because he's staying at his parents' house for the weekdays to hang out with the kids, and Raven comes to pick up her kids, because again, they're split, but she has partial custody. December 6th, Brian gets groceries for the house so his kids could eat for the week, but then leaves with his dad so he can go prepare for work. On December 7th, apparently Brian was actually trying to reach out to Oreanna about something, but he couldn't, so he asked for neighbors, like, hey, can you go do a wheelchair check on my wife? So then the neighbor apparently went over to try to do a welfare check, apparently didn't get an answer. So he goes back and tells Brian, didn't get an answer. So then he calls police, and he texts Oreanna, hey, I'm calling the police because you're not answering. And she says, there's no need, I'm okay. So then apparently the welfare check is canceled because hey, I heard back from her, she's fine. And so then apparently Oreanna then texts him that you were going to come back to a corpse and that you work too much. So then Brian essentially tells her, hey, I'm only working so much because I got all these kids I need to take care of, which understandably. So then Raven, sadly, she then proceeds to come drop off her kids, Sean and Riley, around 5 p.m. So the fateful day of December 8th, 2020, Oreanna would text Brian and Raven that Riley, because this is their kid, so that way if you're going to call from school saying, like, hey, like, your kid wasn't at school today, y'all ain't freaking out. I'm just letting y'all know that I kept him at home because he was feeling sick. Remember, this 2020, so the pandemic, so the little whole COVID pandemic, that was like pretty fresh. So I think they would probably understand, like, okay, cool. So around 2:20, she sends a text to Brian basically saying, hey, I left a letter for you in the floorboard of our car, and apparently she apologized in the text for not being strong enough. So then she goes and picks up Ken and Sean from the bus stop, apparently 5 minutes later. And then apparently there's like a red line on her face, and of course the kids, being curious as kids are, they ask, why is there a red line on your face? And she tells them she did it herself. And then she proceeds to take them home. She then proceeds to shoot all 5 kids, killing them, then sets the house on fire. She then goes outside, and she takes her own life with the same gun. So then Brian apparently finds out that his house is on fire, and understandably rushes there with his brother. Police, obviously, they eventually see this fire eventually, so obviously they show up eventually, because, like I said, this is a town of like 400 people, so I imagine nothing much happens here. And then Raven, she somehow finds about the fire as well, as some Brian or somebody else had close to her and told her. So then she rushes there, because again, my kids are there. And then they find Oreanna's body outside, because like I said, she had shot herself outside. And then Brian, remember the last text that she sent, she said, hey, check the car for the notes. And so apparently there was 3 notes in it. One of them was a confession to the murders, for her confessing to, yes, I murdered all these kids. The second one was apparently a suicide note, because like I said, she took her own life. And the third one was essentially her will. I don't know if it's an official, like legal, like a lawyer involved, signed documented will, or just her saying, hey, I want this stuff to go to this person, da da da. But that's what was found. And so on December 12th, I guess they didn't want to believe that every child was actually dead in this house. By December 12th, it was actually confirmed by DNA that all 5 kids' remains had been found in the house. And so then Raven, understandably, she apparently sues the Department of Health and Human Resources. So I guess giving them custody to Oreanna because she's the reason why my 2 kids and her 3 kids that she had with my ex-husband are dead. Now, the outcome of that lawsuit, I do not publicly know. If anybody knows whether she won or lost or whether it was, like, dismissed, I don't know. That'd be great, because I could not publicly find that. And so, or if it's still pending, let her go know, because it's recorded in late 2024. Okay? And so then, of course, with that being said, I guess it's the first time I've ever done this, but my condolences go to Raven, the mother who lost her only 2 children. It's Sean and Riley. And, of course, condolences go to Oreanna's 3 biological children that were lost, and anybody who may have been impacted by this mass murder, as you call it. So with that being said, case recommendations always welcome down below. Any similar cases you think I should cover that this reminds you of down below. And so with that being said, cover favorite females 3 times a week. Subscribe for more favorite females. I'll see you guys next one. Bye.